guys are kind of like a no more victory type team, but you know, you come out of this like really decent about the loss.
Nobody likes to lose, but you look at the fact that we can play a lot better in the margins, and we can execute a little bit better. I think offensively, get a little bit more organized, understanding how they guarded us, but they try to take away. So yes, you feel as good as you could after a loss, just knowing the steps we need to take, and they're the defending champs, like at home, and the schedule that we've had. We have a competitive spirit and a togetherness that is nice to see develop this early in the season.
What did you think of that whole call goaltending situation, Mike?
It was definitely goaltending. They missed it and keep playing.
You had a chance to tie the game with a layup. Did you want it to go for the 3 instead for the win?
You're kind of just reading the situation based on where KCP was guarding. I know he's probably expecting me to either step back or, I've hit some of those already this year where in kind of ISO situations. Once I got by him, I like the shot I took. I'm not afraid to take it, not afraid of what happens. And if it goes down, when you get a stop, go to overtime. The last thing I wanted was to kind of rush a 3 that might not be the best look, just knowing the situation. So I just made the play I thought was the right one. We'll live with that shot.
This was the first time Trace played against a big, the caliber of Jokic. How do you think he fared?
I think he did great. I mean, Jokic is a beast. He averages whatever he averages against the whole league. So it's tough to stop him. You just try to make him work. I think after the first possession where he spun baseline and they called foul, I think he kind of understood angles and just being ready to play, and then making him guard him on the other end too. That's what Trace can bring us on both ends of the floor. He got a lob and one. Got to the free throw line a couple times in the second half. Made a transition layup where he's putting pressure on their entire team at the rim. So he plays with confidence, and he'll understand the nuances of the best center in the league right now, arguably, him and Joel. So it's a tall task, and I think he did a great job.
You're averaging 31 points per game this season.
Not anymore.
4th.
I'm just messing with you.
4th in the league. Is the scoring title even part of your goal for this season?
That materializes throughout the season. It's not a goal. It's not something that I'm obsessing over. You play the game, take the shots that you think you're supposed to take and make, and shoot at a high clip and the efficiency and all that. And when I won it the 2 years before, it's just playing basketball, and that is the result. At the end of the year, you start looking at it a little bit more if you're in the chase, but it's not a goal at all.
Bigger picture, how satisfied are you with where you guys are at through this stretch, 7 to 9 on the road, and then what does the next few weeks need to be for you guys now that you are going to have a lot of time at home?
I think if you looked at the schedule when it came out and how many road games we had, 8 games in 8 different buildings, in a short time span, you'll take the record that we have, considering how we, played. No, I'm not going to keep talking about last year. We stopped that. We're a great. I stopped myself. No, we're done with that. Knowing the fact that we expect to win games on the road and be a good road team. So, we'll take it. Now, the temptation is to. We talk about it every year. You come off a road trip and success that you've had, you think just because you're at home, you're going to win and you're going to play better and you're going to have energy. You have to take advantage of it. So we'll talk about that. I think we're a lot more focused on how we need to approach each game. That'll give us a good chance to have a great homestand. We have a couple of back-to-backs or maybe one.
I don't think they're back-to-back, but you're playing the same team.
Oh, yeah.
With a back-to-back set.
Oh, yeah.
Start with
Cleveland, Minnesota. So, we understand the task of that. But yeah, feed off our home energy, execute better than we did for the majority of the game tonight, and you should put yourself in a good position to be successful.
I think all 6 of your field goals tonight were 3-pointers. Is that like odd for you that you didn't get to mix it up tonight, or?
A little bit. Just early in the game, I knew how they were defending me. Like Jokic out there in pick and rolls, they didn't want to leave him in a situation where he had to make two movements to guard it, so they just blitzed it, and I think I only got 2 shot attempts in the first quarter. So that's the way that I got to see the game, knowing how teams are going to defend us as we get into the season. Is you have to have the ability to mix it up, but obviously if I get good looks from 3, I'll take those all day. And even down to that last, should have been the goaltend, and obviously I missed that last shot. So you just stay aggressive, looking for whatever's open, whatever defense is giving you. It was a big difference, a little bit without Draymond and some of the off-ball actions, and we'll get better at that. I know Malone, Dario, JK, Trace, we'll continue to build chemistry on how we get those looks, so everybody feels aggressive to score around me, and you understand what options you have, but we get a little bit more organized on that front too.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that.
Off to a good start. We gave the lead away, fought back and forth in that second half. We did enough good things down the stretch to get the win. Fourth quarter defense, all right? Probably our best quarter all night long. 37% from the field for that, and 3 of 11 from the three-point line, which is 27% if you're wondering. The key to the game coming in was three-point defense. Overall, they were 11 of 35 for 31%. That was a phenomenal effort, and I'm going to give this to my main man, Kentavious Caldwell. Another great performance.
Hey, like DJ Kelly said, another one.
Aaron Gordon, I thought you had some key defensive plays. Michael Porter, some key defensive plays using your length. Last thing is this, staying ready. What I love most about it, Justin, you missed your first shot, no hesitation, sprint to the corner, let it fly. Way to be a pro. Fellas, we just got through a really tough schedule, 8-1, undefeated at home. Could not be more proud of this group, right? It's different guys every night. Get some rest tomorrow, we'll get back at it on Friday, right? Bring it in, fellas. Hey, family on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Coach, can you take us to that final sequence again?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, up too late, STEPH Curry ISO. We forced him to call that last timeout, which is actually a big play because they could have challenged that last baseline out of bounds call. And they just went to a STEPH Curry ISO, and up 2, they have the ball. The one thing you don't want to allow is Steph to get to that step back 3 and beat you at the buzzer, which we've seen him do time and time again. And obviously, KCP, who was defensive player of the game again for us, pressed up, made him a 2-point. Worst case scenario, he makes that runner. We have a timeout left. We can try to score, or we go into overtime. But this game was interesting. I thought we got off to a really good start. I thought our bench struggled tonight. Our young guys, obviously, I didn't think were really prepared to come into the game and play tonight. First time I've seen that this season, and to learn from it. And back and forth in the second half. But I thought that fourth quarter defense, Ryan, was where it needed to be to win that game. Held them to 37% from the field and 3 of 11 from 3. And overall, the three-point defense, we talked about it going in, was going to be the biggest key. And to hold them to 11 of 35 as a team, well below their average, was a big reason that we were able to get the win.
Looks like you had Jokic matched up with Chris Paul at the end of the game. Can you walk us through that decision and what was in the fourth quarter, I think?
Yeah, they went small. They took out Looney, and then obviously when they had Chris Paul out there, because they were hurting us with Looney in the pocket. He was catching the ball in the pocket. They were cutting out of the corners, and they were getting some really easy points. So at the end of the game, obviously just getting Nikola on Chris Paul so we can black all those other pick and rolls, switch. That's what we call switching. Switch to pick and roll, so now you're keeping bodies on bodies, not giving up the easy points that we were at the rim. Something that we've done before, and in the right situation, we can cross-match and put them on different people just to try to protect ourselves.
What does it say that you guys were able to defend?
Who did?
What does it say that you guys were able to defend Golden State so well? And some of the things that you typically in the past had issues defending them. Some of the actions that they.
Well, let's be honest. Draymond wasn't here tonight, and I think Draymond is like the guy that, as great as all those guys are, Draymond kind of is the orchestrator. He makes it all work, and so obviously no Draymond tonight allowed us to really key in on some of those guys. But yeah, I think we played well against this team. And a couple of years ago, they beat us in the playoffs. We didn't have a couple of really important pieces, but we tried some different things tonight. There were a couple of growing pains, but overall, I think our guys had pretty good game plan discipline in terms of when you play against a great offense and great offensive players, you can't use your standard defense. You have to have great player defense as well. And Steph Curry obviously warrants that because he's one of the greatest to ever do it.
Coach, was some of how you pushed Joker's minutes based on the time off between now and the game against you?
That national TV game, the timeouts are forever. I mean, so you have a lot of time during the timeouts you can use to your advantage. We talked about it at halftime, not playing until Sunday. You know, I couldn't be more proud of our group. I mean, I think 8-1 is our record, and we've played with a few other teams the most games in the NBA to this point. To be undefeated at home and to get off to the start that we've gotten off to is I couldn't be more proud of that group in there. They've haven't used anything as an excuse or a crutch. We found a way to fight through it, and you know, not every win is going to be pretty, but you know, we gutted this one out tonight against a very good team.
What made you want to go with Justin Holiday? Was that pure defense?
A veteran. You know, somebody I can trust. You know, again, I didn't think our young players were ready to play tonight. And Justin, what I loved about him, he went out there, he defended, he did his job. He missed a wide open three, and what you love about him is the very next possession, sprints to the corner, no hesitation, knocks down a big three. So I'm not the Salvation Army. I'm not just going to give minutes. You know, you have to continue to earn your minutes, and that's why Justin played tonight, and that's why he's such a pro.
Michael, Reggie gives you 20 points, 6 assists, 0 turnovers. How big is his just ability to score without Jamal, and what do you think of him tonight?
Yeah, I think Reggie's been fantastic for us. I mean, he plays with the starters, he plays with the second unit, and when he's with the starters, he has a certain role. When he's with the bench unit, he has a certain role. And he's able to do both. He's a scorer. He's been a scorer his whole career, to your point. But most importantly, 6 assists, no turnovers. That's what you want from your starting point guard. I think Reggie, you know, to be honest, I think him having a whole offseason with us, he was here a lot. Having a training camp with us, I think he feels so much more comfortable than he did coming in here with 23 games to go last year. So he's comfortable. He knows our guys know him, and he was, you know, he was outstanding tonight, to your point, Harrison.
Tonight was the most we've seen Nikola, felt like the most we've seen Nikola switched out on smaller players. Felt like he did a pretty good job. I'm just curious, A, how that kind of came to be from your vantage point, and B, how you thought he did in those situations.
Yeah, it's, you know, through 20 playoff games last year and 4 different playoff series, we made a lot of adjustments, and I think we made a lot of correct adjustments to help us win each series. And so we did things with Nikola that, you know, we probably didn't do a lot during the regular season, switching out under guards and making those guys have to beat him with a tough 2 as opposed to giving up a 3, because if he's in coverage, now you're putting 2 on the ball for a count. They're catching the ball in the pocket, now they're spraying. So it's just a way, you know, when you switch ball screens, that's why everybody does it now, is to really try to negate the three-point line. And against that team, you're doing everything you can to take away the three-point line.
The last 2 games, Nikola's started 0 for 4 and 0 for 5 from 3. It's almost seemed like he's been determined to keep taking them until he makes one. Do you think there's almost like a stubbornness to him of, I feel like I should be making these shots and I need to see myself knock one down?
I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's him just reading the game, and a lot of the threes he takes are open. He puts a lot of time into his game and into his three-point shot. And the best thing about it is that I think there is a balance. Obviously, he took 8 threes tonight, but then him in the mid-range, him in the post, him in catch and shoot, pick and roll, whatever it may be. He's just has such an impact in every way, shape, and form on the floor. But, yeah, I think that's probably better served for Nikola. But I'm just happy he's shooting them. I mean, that was a big part of his winning it last year was his not only shooting the three-point shot, but shooting it at such a high clip.
Coach, the sequence from Michael Porter at the beginning of the fourth quarter had a couple help side blocks and the buzzer beater on the baseline. Just where has his head kind of been just as Jamal has been out, his being asked to do maybe a little bit more? You even had him guarding Clay late in the game as the primary matchup. Just what have you seen from him just evolving?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a continued maturation from last year. I mean, Michael's been truly a work in progress, and it continues to get better and better, Ryan. I mean, last year, the growth he showed on the defensive end, on the offensive end was just phenomenal and so fun to watch because you saw this kid who's got so much talent just continue to push himself to get better and to buy in and to commit to be the best player he can be. And to your point, I thought he had two really good defensive plays where he used his 7-foot wingspan, got into the lane and got a block, fueled that break one time, and then out of a timeout, he knocks down a big three. So Michael's impacting the game in so many different ways right now. 8 rebounds, 17 points, 2 blocks, and that should be the standard for Michael Porter. Like we shouldn't be surprised by it. We should expect it every night.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.
Reggie and Nicole.
Reggie, Coach Malone was talking about how
old I was?
what's that?
Oh, I thought you called me old.
Coach Malone was talking about how important your summer was spent in Denver and throughout the facility. Are you seeing that pay off and just how you've been able to start?
Yeah, I think so by far. Being able to just be around the team, be around the young guys, being able to try to get some continuity with the second unit. Still looking forward to doing that. We know we have a long season ahead of us, so we feel like the more that we can play, we can, like I said, minimize the minutes of our starters, the best starting unit in the league, but try to get them down. But just being here and being able to talk to the coaches, even though I may not know all the plays right now, just being able to pick their brains, sit with them, talk about things that we were trying to do as a second unit, things that our team kind of does and plays. Having an understanding of our why and our purpose and the way that we play allows me to at least have a chance to try to find success with the first unit. So I think being here in the summer has definitely benefited, and I'm very thankful that I spent my summer here with the team and being around our coaches and being around our young guys.
Does anything change in your approach knowing that Jamal is going to miss, pretty significant amount of time here?
I'm just trying to do my part. Honestly, just trying to do my part. I think that's what everybody does on this team. We understand our roles, and we're just trying to be a star in our role and just trying to help in any way. And once you have a 2-time MVP, the Finals MVP, he makes things a lot easier. Have a group in that starting unit who has a lot of continuity. That's helping me, putting me in positions to be successful, and defensively just trying to lock into our schemes. But that group, and especially when Jamal gets back, they've logged a lot of minutes together. They got a lot of continuity, and they're really doing a great job, like I said, of directing me and helping me feel comfortable being in the unit. Definitely being here in the summer helps, but having those 4 guys constantly in my ear, constantly, putting me in the position in the right position on offense has really helped.
How do you build chemistry with Nikola?
I think he's just that damn good that he's making me look like I know what I'm doing out there with the team. So really, you just get the guy the ball. You realize in our system, pass, cut, move, we play very unselfish. And I was actually joking with AG. The last 2 layups they tried to trap him off of. I was so shocked how open I was. Just trying to make sure that I keep my eye on what's going on. I noticed that my guy was peeling back to double him, and he just did a great job of finding me. But yeah, I couldn't believe how open I was. But he's damn good, and he makes life easy.
Where does he rank in terms of easiest players, teammates to have that chemistry with sort of automatically?
You always have to find chemistry with everybody. All stars that you play with, you have to figure out what they're doing. Last year, it took me a little longer to figure out. I found myself falling out of the lineup. Definitely am not salty about that. Got a championship out of it. So was happy about that for sure. But Yeah, once kind of fell line, I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, my brother's always been a big brain trust for me, so I sit down, talk the game, talk to the coaches as well, and just figuring out what we were doing and understanding. I think I talked to Mark Davis about it today. Was understanding going from usually being here as a quarterback. You're usually the quarterback when you're a point guard of the offense. You see directly everything in front of you. You kind of make decisions, and people have to trust your instincts that you're putting them in great positions. But now understanding that I'm more like a receiver, and especially when you play with Nikola and figuring out, trying to understand what he sees as I'm playing, whether it be setting screens off the ball, and yeah, he's the best at doing it. So just trying to be in the right spot at the right time, because there's not a pass that he can't make. There's not a pass that he won't try to make, and he's always trying to make the right play. So just trying to make sure I'm in the right place at the right time and do the best job possible to create mismatches for us to eat and find success on offense.
You know, it's the quarterback thing. Sometimes, like with Peyton Manning, he would throw when it wasn't open, but it was going to become open. It's not obvious that I'm going to be open, but he'll find you in that timing and in that spot. Is that kind of what's like you always have to be ready?
Yeah, no, he definitely was funny. He told me a few plays before, he's like, you're going to be open on this play that you drew up out of timeout. I didn't get it, but then he just kept telling me, like, be ready. So once he had said that, my mind had clicked, like more, like stay ready, stay looking, trying out what he's finding. And then definitely when Klay Thompson was trying to peel back for the double him, I believe he was on our right block right in front of our bench. Like, I just wanted to make sure I had somewhat of eye contact with him. And by the time he hit me with the ball, it was funny because I'm looking for the weak side. I'm looking for somebody to come help, and I don't think they wanted to leave AG. Of course, Mike was hot. We all know what Pope can do. He can get it going at any given moment, and I found myself the recipient of just probably the easiest basket, one of the easiest baskets I've ever had in my career. So it was funny, and then it happened again. And it was funny to be like the crowd. I appreciate everybody's cheering. We were all hyped, but I was like, yeah, I didn't really do much. It was like you're playing with that good of a player. Like, you just make sure you're in the right spot at the right time. Yeah, when you play games with teams of this caliber, I think they get up for the game. We get up for the game. You know how locked in you've got to be to give yourself a chance to win. Contavious Caldwell-Pope is, my boy KCP is definitely first team all defense. He showed it again tonight. Stephen Curry's incredible. The way he played tonight, I know KCP just made it as difficult as possible. We did everything within our coverages. We tried to show different schemes, but KCP made it very difficult on Steph. We know what he's capable of, getting hot, so we were very fortunate that, he didn't get it going tonight, as well as he didn't get that left-hand little floater to go to tie the game up. But, yeah, this team's very special, and it's fun playing with this group.
For the Warriors, is the hard part of it the physical side with how much motion they run, or the mental side is trying to keep track of all of that motion?
Probably both. Like, being that keyed in is very mentally tasking, mentally daunting, but really was challenged the way that they move. You always have to be ready. I tell people the greats, sometimes they find out how to be great by playing the game somewhat backwards. When the ball's moved, you never should relax, but life is life. Like, we all have to find rest periods. So normally when the ball's moved, that's when you kind of take a break, but that's when Steph is at his most deadly. And it made us have to be really on our P's and Q's. We had to make sure we were really locked in, and just the magnet he is. They got a bunch of easy layups, things like that, but we just couldn't get discouraged. We had to continue to battle, but constant movement, constant talking. I imagine it's probably like running around. If you went on a jog and you were trying to sing the whole time, then they make you winded. They make you think. You're constantly communicating with your teammates, and I think that's why it was a playoff atmosphere. Back to your question, is like these type of teams really challenge you, and they make you lock in, and you can't just come in and necessarily play off your principles. I always feel like the regular season is like a marathon. The teams are trying to build their principles to the best of their ability, and then once you get into the playoffs, you kind of really lock in, cue and scheme for what you're playing. But there's those teams out there during the season that it always becomes a playoff atmosphere, because you're going to do more than just your principles. You're going to have to really scheme for them and what they do, because they're elite at what they do.
Reggie, I know you have a really good, strong career, but did you come into this offseason and then the season feeling like you
that?
Probably proving myself I can still play. Like, and that I can be effective with this team, with this style of play. I think that goes back to my military background. I've been very blessed growing up. Like, I didn't know how much of a blessing it was to move around a lot, to play different styles, to always be the new kid that has to fit into a style, so everything didn't always revolve around me. And having a dad who grew up as like a 6'1" power forward, another brother who's 6'2" shooting guard, and another one who's like a 5'11" point guard, and my mom playing, like I got a lot of game from a lot of places. And I think the funnest part of the game is, for me throughout my career, is to try to be successful or find success while it's ever adapting. And yeah, I think that's something I wanted to prove. Like, I don't have accolades I need to prove to myself. I just wanted to prove that I could be effective and help this team.
More if we got it. You and Justin go back quite a ways, it sounds like. Is tonight
13 years.
Is tonight a pretty good summary of who he is? He's a guy who, I don't know, didn't play many meaningful minutes in the first 8 games of the season, gets called upon tonight, comes in and, you know, produces in a pretty key moment.
Always been a star in his role, and my boy works in the shadows. Like, I love him. I love what he's about. Never going to complain. Do everything to master his craft. Great teammate. He's going to back you all the time. Pick you up. You know, even on his down days, he's outwardly driven. He's trying to make sure everybody's good. And I was happy to see him have success, to hit a big shot. Like, he's always going to be ready. He's always going to be locked into the schemes. That's just who Justin has been since we've been working out together, and I've gotten to meet him, like I said, 13 years ago. And I'm not gonna lie, like, after we signed him, I was super ecstatic, and I'm happy for a day like this. Like, when Coach called on him, it was funny. Like, I got a sense of relief. I know we're good. I know he's ready. I know he knows the defensive schemes. I know he's confident. I know he's gonna shoot the ball when the right shot's open. And I know he could battle adversity. Like, no matter how it went, I know he was gonna be able to get up tomorrow and still believe in himself. So I'm I'm truly happy for him to hit the shot. Hopefully it leads to more confidence. We're a very deep team. We understand that, and we need everybody's contribution. So we never know whose night it's going to be. We never know how Coach is going to put a lineup together, and everybody has to be ready because, like I said, we're very deep, we're very talented, and it can be anybody's night.
Thank you, Reggie.
Y'all have a great night.
Don't worry, Taylor fell down. Fun time.
Nicole, what did you think of Warriors rookie Jackson Davis?
I didn't hear the question, man. Sorry.